Erik. And this is terrifying. So actually, could I ask you to give a round of applause to all the performers who came before me? And a premature round of applause for the ones who are going to follow. Because I promise most of us are scared shitless of you. Okay. Late fall 2001, I was living in Seattle. I was 24 years old, and I was dumber than shit. One Thursday, I'm at Neighbors for 80s night, and that place was a shithole. I loved it. And I'm not doing anything other than sitting and drinking when suddenly out of nowhere, this hot, shirtless guy comes sauntering up to me with this wicked, welcoming grin, and he leaned in close, and he asked me something. I did not hear the question because of the boom, 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 coming out of the sound system, which sort of muffled everything. Oh my God, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be that guy who asked hot shirtless guy to repeat himself. So I nodded, stupidly, with conviction. I mean, I didn't want him to lose interest. It's really easy to get a guy in a gay bar to lose interest, especially when you ask him to concentrate. But I did understand the next thing he asked me. He wanted me to go with him. Okay. So up I went, and I was following him through the club. Boom, 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 boom was the soundtrack to our journey. Was the wind in my hair. And that's when I realized we were heading toward the bathroom. Why are we going to the bathroom? I didn't care. This guy was outer space hot. Oh, so naive, so stupid, so naive. And then there we were, locked in a bathroom stall. What are we doing? What are we doing? I was so excited. It was an adventure. And then this guy pulls out a little plastic contraption with kind of a jar screwed into it, and in that jar was a bunch of white powder. What the hell is that? He explained to me that it was a bumper. What the hell's a bumper? Well, a bumper is a little plastic contraption with a little jar that you can unscrew and fill up with the evening's choice of powder. Oh, what's the evening's choice of powder? He explained that it was K. What's K? Well, K is short for ketamine, which is a horse tranquilizer. And it'll shoot sparks out of your hair and glitter smoke out of your ear. And it'll just shoot poems and symphonies and concertos right out of your gum. You'll love it. Okay. So stupid, so stupid. Bumper. And that's when I realized that if this guy was outer space hot, I was outer space high. And I stayed that way for 3 days. God, what a weekend! Experimenting with all kinds of things like ecstasy and meth, but mostly it was the people I got to meet. Beautiful people. So stupid. One thing I learned, Seattle boys, the chiseled features and the six-pack abs and the fabulous gay, perfectly coiffed hair. The ones who still look like runway models in ripped tank tops and Pac-Man t-shirts. The ones who are on one day total shits to you and the next fabulous. The ones who always know where they're going, even when they're not going there. Now, don't get me wrong, I was not a crackhead in Seattle. But every now and then, the opportunity would present itself for me to take a little vacation for a couple of days. And there I find myself in someone's apartment, surrounded by the sex-addled sluts. Some of them I knew, some of them I didn't, some of them I pretended not to know, you know, like any other party. The thing here, though, is nobody at these things drank. Ever. We had some limits. It was at one of these sketchy parties that I met Lewis. Lewis, for the first time. Now, sketchy means that you've been on a substantial amount of meth for a substantial amount of time, that you've reached the point that you feel a true need to get creative. You know, like Nazi Hitler kitchen cleaning, or really deep, impactful conversations about Nietzsche with a friend or a mirror. Watching a couple of people have sex in 17 different positions under the coffee table. You know, the usual. I wasn't sketchy the first time I met Lewis. Oh, that would come. Lewis was the dealer. He walked through the door. I looked at him. He looked at me. It was lust at first sight. I gave him his money. He gave me my drugs, and he was out the door. Oh, no, wait, come back here, super hot drug dealer guy. You're the love of my life. Oh, I was so sick of hanging out with these douchebags everywhere. I wanted to jump through and over and under and around the hierarchy. I wanted to find someone's throne to sit on. I wanted a Lewis. And not because I wanted access to his stash. I really didn't care about that. It's because that Lewis, all 5'8" of him, was strapped from head to toe in rippling, crazy-ass electronic muscle. And he had this deep, sexy voice and these arrogant eyes. And he was Aryan and Jewish. And I thought that was all kinds of crazy. A couple days later, I ran into Lewis on gay.com, which used to be the hot shit chat site for gay people. It was a long, long time ago. We chatted and chatted and chatted for the better part of 5 to 7 days. And oh my God, I was so excited because I thought I really actually might stand a chance in hell with this guy. But I didn't want to get too excited. I didn't want him to know Lewis was very laid back and subdued. So I just stepped back and enjoyed the chats. And if things kept going the way it looked like they were going, oh my God, I could picture it. Suddenly, all of the meth would go away, eventually. All of the sinister drug dealings and dark passengers and creepy stuff like that would just poof, gone, spark, ah, like it was never there. Eventually. And then we would have a chance to be normal. Absurdly normal. Suddenly, one day, Louis breaks up with his boyfriend, what? And comes running to me. It was like a motherfucking fairy tale. And the two of us were so healthy together. We were not codependent. We didn't have to be with each other 24 hours a day. Oh, we were together a lot, but we respected each other's privacy. We respected each other's distance. I mean, that really was something that I kind of had to do because every now and then he sort of disappeared into the wilderness to sell drugs and stuff. And I had to respect that. You know, but we really weren't codependent. So, about a month into this whole thing, I moved him in. I know, it was a little fast. It wasn't lesbian fast, but it was a little fast. We really were ready. We felt and believed like we were ready. So stupid. And you know, the whole experience kind of provided Louis with a big advantage because at the time I didn't have a roommate, and so Louis was able to store his product in the hiding places of my basement. It was win-win. I got Louis, he got storage. One day, Louis came home to tell me that he'd become closely associated with one of the top meth cooks in the area, and that he was going to start cooking with him. Now, oh my God, I knew that was a really big deal for him. The whole dealing thing was kind of a foot in the door situation, you know, a front desk clerk sort of thing, trying to wrangle your way to management and all of this. I mean, in fucking drug land, this was a motherfucking raise. And so, because he would be helping with the creation of the meth, that also meant that he would be bringing home a lot more of it. And oh my God, my fucking house was just overflowing with that shit. And it got to the point where Louis, so excited by the whole thing, thought, oh, fuck it, why even bother trying to hide it anymore? Let's just hide it in plain sight. Let's just leave it right out in the open. So there in the refrigerator, next to the, popsicles and shit, there's like 40, 50 pounds of meth. During that time, my kitchen became a very suspenseful place. This really happened. Well, the honeymoon was over. And that's when the fighting started. You know, little things like, hey, Louis, where you been for the last 3 days? Oh, hey, Eric, I'm really hurt that you don't trust me anymore, so I'm going to pack up my shit and disappear for another 3 days. How do you like that, motherfucker? Our fights were awesome. We would yell and scream and shout and whatnot, but the whole time I would be watching Louis pack up his shit and eventually head toward the door, and once he crossed the threshold and shut the door behind him, it didn't matter where we were in the argument, who was speaking, what sentence, nothing. As soon as that door shut, it was over. And I was left alone with the echo of the fight and wondering, what the fuck is it I'm not doing that makes it necessary for him to go where he goes? Louis held me while I slept. Yeah. I even saw him cry once. To this day, I don't know why, and I guess it really wasn't important why. What was important was he was doing it, and he was allowing me to see it. It made me feel special. One day, I came home, And all the meth was gone. So was Lewis. Oh, shit. I knew it was for the best. It ripped me in half, but it was for the best. What if we removed the drugs from the entire situation? What if Lewis worked at a pet store or something? Would we still be together? Would we be a family? In 2008, whole Lewis thing was 2003. In 2008, I got a surprising phone call from Lewis asking me if he could come over. And in 2008, I was still pretty stupid. So I said, oh yeah, sure, why not? Come on. And he walked through that door, and he looked better than ever. It was ridiculous. I didn't understand. I didn't know. And he had this hot, sexy tribal tattoo right here. And I know that on most people, that looks really fucking douchebaggy, but it did not him. And he sat next to me on the sofa and told me that not very long after we broke up, he got himself out of the business and found a real job and put himself into school. And that he had done this in large part because of my influence on him. Motherfucking son of a bitch comes into my house, sits on my fucking sofa, and the only thing that's going on in my head is I want him to throw me up against the wall and fuck the shit out of me. And he has the audacity to tell me that I'm some kind of a hero? A motherfucking hero? Well, that's what I am, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I am. And all of that stupid and naive and crap and bullshit and whatnot that I spread myself with every single day is just the icing on the cake, and he wants to tell me there's something going on underneath. From that day forward, my life has never been anything normal.